What was your full name at birth?
Total name was Roger Winfred Birkman.
Describe your father.
We had a lot of similarities. I was very close to him. People would describe me as being very much like my dad. But if it was possible, I was even more extroverted than he was. But he was quite a gentle person. To this day, I rather idolize him because he was such a marvelous person by way of developing an intimate fellowship with me. Now, I never really got to know my mother. That I regret, because she acquired pneumonia, and in so doing, she was ill in my early years of life, too.
If she were here today, what would you say to your mother?
I have an emotional reaction to your question because I would so much welcome to have known her, because I heard quite a few wonderful things about her.
As a young boy, did you ever get into any mischief?
The only mischief we got into, I remember, was with my older brother.
We interrupt this broadcast and bring you this important bulletin from Washington. The White House announces Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor.
What event happened in your life on September the 25th of 1941?
I was drafted on that date.
How did you feel when you got that draft notice?
Well, I was among the early draftees, and then of course that meant a drastic change. I knew that life would never be the same again.
What did you think of the crew that was assigned to you?
Loved them. We loved everybody, and the navigator was our challenge. He was a rounder. All the rest of us were pretty serious, and he loved women. He was...
Please describe the date and the events of your 19th mission.
Well, it was prior to D-Day. I knew that I'd been shot down on May the 27th, but I hadn't thought about, well, yeah, that's the date made your last flight.
Describe the first time you saw your family again.
They had a celebration at Herman Park in Houston, and my cousin brought by a young lady, and when I saw Sue, I remember seeing her the first time, and I was interested. Well, we did some dating, and after about fifth date, I told her, I think we're going to get married or something like that.
Describe how it felt holding your firstborn in your arms for the first time.
She had a little pink ribbon in her hair. It was marvelous. I had no idea what a blessing Sharon would be.
Was there something unique about the demographic of the study that you used versus the demographic of the study that most psychology departments use? What is unique about that?
Most people. That's the unique. Because that's considered an attitude. And it is. But it's more than an attitude. And that's been our protection as well. It's almost as though it were a trade secret. Like Coca-Cola having a certain formula.
What separates you and your method from the competition?
I would say the ability to tap the needs, the way we use the combinations.
Dr. Birkman, do you have any closing comments to leave for future generations?
Well, the closing comment would be that I would hope that we will continue to find for each generation the legacy of accepting diversity, that everyone has a native gift, and that there's nobody that is in a position to have any kind of resentment, or really not to love everybody. The gift would be to first love oneself and accept oneself. And I alluded to that with you briefly a while ago, is that what we call underlying needs, those are marvelous gifts that where God is sharing His glory and His purpose with us. But we only have little glimpses and scattering of it. But if we find our purpose, and we find that well, let's call it love, acceptance of who we are, that we're created with a purpose, And then being able to see that kind of potential in everybody we meet, that would be a legacy that I would dream about.